What's up? Good evening, good morning, whatever time of day it is while you are watching this. This is Deontay with Deontay's Reviews. Like, tag, comment, share, subscribe as we continue to talk about these Kountry Wayne skits and these Kountry Wayne streets. Now, this video is the second installment to the Down in the Comments video or segment that I'm doing now here at Deontay's Reviews. And what that is I, from time to time, will choose one of the videos that I've recently posted, go through the comments, pick a couple of comments, read them, and respond to them, answer whatever questions, or just respond to whatever commentary you all drop in the comments. Just another way for me to continue to engage with you, the Carolites, my audience, and those that may not even be Carolites, but just pop up and just say whatever you want to say and put on, speak off your chest. So these few comments, they come from the video that was posted last night, the one where Iman went to Wayne and told Wayne how he feels about Delicia and, his ultimately what he plans on doing with, his feelings with Delicia. So the first comment that I'm going to read, this comes from Deshandra Newsom, 6735. And she says, I love how you tied the word into there. Shayla has to be humbled, in which she needs to be broken down significantly. Like Wayne said, she is so savage. I don't really think she feels like anyone will cross her. She believes she is the greatest gift, but absolutely bring nothing forward. In what way does she make anyone a better person or adds value to them? I'm curious about her mental diagnosis. Well, that's a great comment, because I don't know if you remember about a year ago, a year and a half maybe, when Zashri came in, there was a skit between Shayla and Zashri where Zashri touched on something around Shayla's mental health and about Shayla telling the truth about her past. So there's a lot to be explored. One thing about these skits is when we oftentimes get introduced to these characters, we kind of get them in the right now, right? But then after that initial storyline unravels, oftentimes they go into the backstory of these characters. And so there's a lot of room and opportunity to experience Shayla's, or to learn of Shayla's backstory, to learn more about her mother, to learn more about her father, to learn more about her upbringing as a child. Delicia is now in the picture. We know Delicia was a middle school friend. And the way they cried Delicia's first scene in the skits says a lot, that Delicia had a role. I don't know if she was like Shayla's protector or protected her from something, bullying or whatever the case may be. There's a lot to explore as it relates to Shayla's upbringing. Shayla has to be humble. Yes, she does, because in my humble opinion, she's been going around town gloating and feeling as if she's gotten away with her behavior. So, something has to happen where she's going to be humbled, feel humbled, and kind of bring it down a notch for her. Wayne said she's a savage. We know this. Shayla's a savage. And does she think anyone will cross her? No. She doesn't put it past Delicia for Delicia to cross her. But I think over time, Iman is going to break her down, and Delicia is going to give in and fold. So thank you, Deshandra Newsom, for your comment. This next one comes from Dwan 7683. Thank you for your comment. Being friends, regardless if the two are dating or married or not. Shayla and Delicia are friends, even though Shayla broke the friend code twice, having an affair with Anthony and having a baby and dating Mike. The question is, will Delicia break the friend code on Shayla, knowing that Shayla broke the friend code on Amber? See, the part of the problem is Delicia doesn't know all of the details, because remember, Shayla only told her so much and she didn't get to the nitty gritty. I don't recall her telling her that she went after Anthony when he was intoxicated, which is a whole nother problem. So, I mean, she left out a lot of pertinent information. And then Dwan also says, remember everyone, Shayla isn't telling the truth how she and Anthony ended up together, which was dead wrong from the start. Absolutely. Not many people know the actual story. PR doesn't know that Anthony was intoxicated and Shayla came after him. There's a lot of people that don't know. But I will say one of the most important people that needs to know is Amber. And Anthony did tell her the truth. Now, here's the thing. At this upcoming birthday party for Wayne, where all of them are going to be there, will it come out that Shayla took advantage of Anthony while he was intoxicated, ultimately making her look bad? That would be something for the truth to come out for all ears to hear. So thank you, Dwan, for your comment. Andrea Blackwood, 7325 says, Iman is seeing the qualities in Delicia that Shayla lacks. Shayla has nothing to bring to the table. I don't think people hate Shayla. People dislike the fact that she does not have consequences for her actions. Listen, I've been saying that for a long time, that Shayla is a bill. She's a liability. And if you've been following me for any length of time, I've always said, Shayla spins his bag, referring to Anthony, while Amber helps him secure his bag. And one thing about men, especially men these days, we don't like a woman that's going to be a liability, that's going to be a bill. Every time you turn around, she's spending money. She racking up the credit card bill, but she's not helping you to brainstorm on ways to make new money. The only thing she can brainstorm is how much more money she's going to spend this weekend when she's going to Neiman Marcus or something crazy like that. And so the difference between Anthony and Iman is Iman learning real fast that Shayla is a liability. And I think he woke up and smelled the coffee that day when Shayla said she put him on. And he was like, you put me on to what? In his mind, he like, I just gave you $50,000. What do you put me on to? Because Delisa is your friend. I could have found her through a reference from anybody had I not even known you. So I mean, I would have easily been able to come across her if I just had to, search around, because she's already servicing people that he knows. So he would have easily come across her without Shayla even, being the middleman. But yes, Shayla brings nothing to a table, and I think Iman sees that. It was too bad that Anthony never saw that, because here's the thing: Anthony loves to feel needed. That he gets a thrill out of that. That's what makes him fulfilled, is when he's feeling needed in a relationship when it comes to women. And so that's why it's hard for him to let Shayla go, because unlike Amber, Shayla needs him. Shayla needs him for everything that she wants, desires, and needs, all of the things. So thank you for your comment. Eden Lamb WMS says, no one cares about bottom feeders' feelings, referring to Shayla. She doesn't care about anyone else's feelings. It is time for the rug to be pulled from underneath her. Karma should be served in a large portion to her. How do you want your karma? Small, medium, or large? I guess is what you're trying to say, right? Yeah, I mean, I think if I were to take a poll, a lot of people wouldn't care about Shayla's feelings. And I don't think anybody would have empathy or sympathy, for Shayla if Delicia does fall for Iman and they become a thing. Because for a long period of time, Shayla has gone unchecked. And Shayla has been able to move, shuck and jive, stick and move. I mean, she didn't had an artist that she was able to find $10,000. Anthony been giving her whatever she want, $15,000 for a birthday party that made no sense. A mommy makeover, a trip to Jamaica, and it just seems like she's been getting away scot-free. So yeah, I don't think nobody has any kind of sympathy for her. So I would agree with you there. Thank you for your comment. This one comes from Frances Hatcher, 1137. Thank you for the comment. She says, Shayla doesn't need to be in a relationship with Iman. No woman should want to be with a man that gets high all the time. Shayla needs to be with someone positive to help her in life. Kai should be Shayla's inspiration to want to do better. Who are we to want harm to come to someone and they have a child? Shayla's mom has always been a negative person, so she has been teaching her how to treat people. So the blame is not all her. And how many people have we hurt in life and never got karma from it, but we got grace and did all of this, but with her, but y'all are showing him grace. Oh, Ant did all of this with her, but y'all are showing him grace, and he has never shed one tear for Amber, but she took him back and is trying to move on. Well, if you've been following me for any point in time, I have never been easy on Anthony. I've never been easy on Amber, Anthony, Shayla. I'm an equal opportunity commentator. All of them can get it. Any, whether I'm talking about Noel, whether I'm talking about anybody that do something crazy or wild, they're equal opportunity client for me to go on. I guess if you want to call it that. Ed did all of this, but listen, I'm one thing about grace. God's grace is sufficient. It's enough for you to get yourself together. You know, and there comes a time when God's grace has limits. And after a while, God will give you time to get yourself together before he says enough is enough. And then the other part that you said, Francis, is very important. Shayla needs to be around someone that's positive, that's going to help in her life. I agree. But the problem is she holds her mother at a high standard and she trusts her mother with every fiber of her being. So anything her mother says is the gospel, and so she trusts her mother. But her mother is not giving her sound information, healthy information. Her mother is all things toxic to her. So what do you do with an adult child who does not have discernment to know who to listen to, who not to listen to, even if the person you shouldn't be listening to is your very own mother, because your very own mother has her own challenges and own struggles that she has to overcome. And all she's been doing is passing down toxicity to her child, which is why her child has ended up the way that she is in her adult life. And how often do we see that with people that we know come from toxic households, toxic parent, passed on toxic teachings to the children, and the children have become messed up, jacked up adults that we oftentimes can't even stand being in the same room with. But yeah, she don't need to be with a mom. She don't need a man. But the problem is Shayla's identity is always wrapped up in a man. She has no identity of self. Literally the other day, she told her mom said, your career. And she said, Mom, I don't have a career. She has no identity outside of a man. So Shayla feels as though she needs to be attached to a man in order for her to be somebody. It's sad, but I mean, that's just the reality. Thank you for your comment, Francis. Paula Cross, 33086, she says, Iman and Shayla aren't married. There's a difference in dating and being married. Iman didn't put a ring on Shayla's finger. Big difference. And I'm assuming she's referring to the difference of Amber and Anthony actually being married versus Shayla not being married. And I get it. I understand what you're saying. But the principle is still the same. When somebody is exclusive and they're in a committed relationship, whether it's courting or whether it's being married, the overall theme there is it's an exclusive relationship. You know what I'm saying? So whether Shayla's married or not, she's still gonna feel that hurt. She's still gonna feel that sting. Only difference is she had a hand in violating a marital covenant. And so Shayla is the kind of person where she can dish it, but she can't take it. And she's going to be saying, if and when Iman and Delicia mess with each other, she's going to be saying all of the same things Amber has been saying. All the while, she has been, disregarding Amber's feelings and disregarding how Amber feels and disregarding Amber's argument towards Shayla, towards her own self. Shayla she can see the speck in somebody else's eye, but she can't see the speck that's in her own eye. It's a weird thing. It's a weird thing. She doesn't mind playing victim when she interferes in somebody else's marriage or relationship, but she wants to cry victim when somebody does it to her. But I think it's really the principle. But thank you for your comment. All right. Carolyn McCafferty, 964 says, thank you for your explanation by using the creator. This is why I love your reviews. Thank you so much. As many people know, I'm a pastor, so I'm going to always do my best with while I give the laughter and find the lightheartedness and the skits and my crazy antics, just bringing my personality. I always try to invoke wisdom, invoke discernment, because these skits are based upon, stuff that we see in everyday life, whether we agree or not. And just try to find the social and spiritual implications in it all. Stephanie Jones 3032 says, good morning. You have really touched my heart with your words you have spoken at the end of this skit. Thank you. You're very, very welcome. And, I enjoy it. I enjoy what I do here at Deontay's Reviews, and, being the vessel used to touch a lot of people through my reviews and through the comedy and all of the things. So I don't take it lightly that you all take something and make it applicable. And it is applicable to your lives. And it is something that you can take back and grow from and be better individuals. So I don't take that lightly. Young T. White, she says, you're so right, Deontay. God gave Shayla the opportunity to apologize to Amber on a silver platter. Nothing mysterious or cryptic to decipher. And she chose to literally walk away. Yeah. Yeah. She is. I believe Shayla has had every opportunity to make it right. Even when she was on their front porch and she had the nerve to say, Amber, I forgive you. Forgive you for what? When you was the one that slept with this woman's husband, had a whole affair, and had a baby with this woman's husband, and was running around town flaunting like you have always been the wife. Like what it's the gall, the audacity, the boldness of it all is just. And so she's had opportunities to get it together, but I think what the writers, or specifically what Wayne is getting ready to show, is that there comes a point when grace does run out, and you have to face the consequences. Because see, sometimes when you recognize you're wrong, just because you repent doesn't mean that the consequences are always going to be held back and you won't have to face the consequences. Sometimes you got to face the consequences even after you repent, right? And so with Shayla, this girl, she doesn't care. No remorse, no feeling, none whatsoever. Like she's desensitized to the pain she's caused somebody else. But she will be so in touch and in tune when somebody does her wrong. It's a crazy, weird thing, but it just is what it is, And so, yeah, I think what Wayne is getting ready to show us is that the tides are getting ready to turn. And so we just got to buckle up and prepare for the ride. All right, this last comment comes from Giselle Gant 1234. Why do you think that God is participating in these skits? This is entertainment. Please stop including God. Well, first of all, Giselle, understand that if you've been following Kountry Wayne at any point in time for a long period of time, Kountry Wayne is a Christian comedian. He's always claimed to be a Christian comedian who doesn't cuss. Jesus is popping. That's his slogan. Okay. So, even though these are entertainment, these are skits, it's entertainment, these are also teachable moments. Okay. But here's the thing. You're saying, why do you think God is participating in this, and stop including God? How are you going to come to my page and tell me to stop including? How are you going to come to a pastor's page and tell a pastor to stop including God in anything that he does? That is a wild statement to me. Okay. And then here's the other part. Why this is important to me. My analytics, as of this day, I've started this page May 28th of 2025. And to this date, I have had 8 million views on my page in my analytics. Okay? 8 million views of people who will probably never ever walk into church, some of which would never ever walk into my church ever. But with this platform, I had the biggest reach. And majority, if not most of these people would never walk into my church, would never probably see me face to face. But the Lord has allowed me to have this platform to reach a lot of people, to use it as a tool. Okay, because guess what? Majority of us have relationships, have had relationship problems, and these skits can speak to us. And see, the thing is, we have to find God in everything that we do. We have to stop putting God in the box to say that God is only speaking when he's in the church house. You know, our Bible tells us that God wants us to go out to the highways and byways, to the four corners of the earth, to minister and preach to people. We live in 2025 where technology is a whole thing. When technology gives us the ability to reach those that we would never see face to face, or maybe even never touch. Okay? And so with these skits, God will use anything the same way he used a donkey to speak, an ass to speak. And I'm not cussing, that's in the Bible. You know, but the Lord can use these entertainment pieces of skits to speak to people, to minister to people, because most of the time, people who are watching these are going through some of the same crazy things, and they can relate to them. And so, in these skits are able to be used for teachable moments, to be able to minister to people, to be able to reach people. So yeah, so anytime you come to my page, you're gonna get God. You're gonna get the laughter. You're going to get it. And guess what? There's a lot of pages that do Kountry Wayne reviews. And if you don't like God being invoked here, then maybe this ain't the page for you. There's other ones you can go to. But you can't come to somebody else's house and tell them where the furniture going to be. But that's all the time I got for y'all today. Love y'all. And until next time, let's keep them comments coming and give us something to look at. See y'all later.